Alright, due to the fact that whenever you watch this, the franchise tag deadline could be this day, could be the day before, or even a few days past, these are the people I think are going to be franchise tagged, according to CBS Sport. They said that the Titans would franchise tag Harold Landry. I kind of agree with that. That makes sense. The Commanders would franchise tag Brandon Sheriff. Yeah, makes sense. He's still a really good guard. I'd keep him around. Because if you lose him, you're losing maybe the best offensive lineman you have. Because you lost Morgan Moses the year prior. You can't afford to lose Brandon Sheriff. The Cardinals would be Zach Ertz. Yeah, I would say roughly. He's important, but I don't know how important, really. Falcons, Cordell Patterson, absolutely. You got to keep him around. He's so much for you in terms of being the running back, being a wide receiver. He had even packages as a safety. It was crazy what they were doing with him. Kind of also had a reborn NFL career in Atlanta. Keep him around. The Ravens, it would be Deshaun Elliott. I kind of agree with that. He was hurt last year, but I would want to keep him around. The Panthers, Hassan Riddick, excuse me, Hassan Riddick, I agree. He had one of his best years as a pro. Keep him around. Find a way to get money to this guy. Bengals, Jesse Bates, that's an obvious one. Because I think you got to keep Jesse Bates around. If you lose Jesse Bates, now you're in trouble in the long run. The Cowboys, I put Gregory / Schultz, because this could depend on if the Cowboys find a way to pay Gregory on an actual contract. Then they'll probably franchise tag Schultz, because we don't know anything about Blake Jarwin, and his career could be in doubt. But if they can't, they just probably will franchise tag Gregory, even though that will cost them an extra $9 million. The Lions, it would be Tracy Walker, and I guess I don't know much about Walker, but I do know that the Lions like having him around. The Packers, an obvious one, Davante Adams. It makes a whole lot of sense. They haven't agreed to talks. They haven't really talked too much about contracts, and you don't know what Aaron Rodgers is doing. I think Aaron Rodgers is purposely just waiting to see what happens to Davante. If he's tagged, he may make his decision. Who knows? Jacksonville, it would be Cam Robinson. Okay, I guess it's not the greatest name, but you don't have a lot of great players in Jacksonville right now, so you don't have much of a choice. The Chiefs, Orlando Brown, as we said before. CBS said Tyrann Mathieu. There was a report this morning that it would be Orlando Brown, and he will be tagged, so who knows what could happen. The Chargers would be Mike Williams. That makes sense. He was your best second wide receiver behind Keenan Allen. I truly believe. And sometimes probably your best first wide receiver. The Rams, Von Miller. Don't really agree with that. Von Miller said he wants to test out free agency. So I think that's the direction they were going to go. But that's what CBS said. The Rams would tag Von Miller. I don't agree with it. $20 million to tag him. Is he worth it? I'd say yes, but I don't see them doing it. The Dolphins, Mike Gesicki. I like this one because Gesicki's a really good player. He's not going to put amazing catch numbers up, but when you need to move the chains, that's what he's good at. And he can get down the field. He's a good blocker. It all works out. I definitely keep Mike Gesicki around in Miami. The Saints would be Marcus Williams. That makes sense. You gotta try and keep some people cheap, but you gotta figure out how to do that in the 2022 season. Keep him around. Don't let him hit free agency. the 49ers, it would be Lincoln Tomlinson, who had a good year, only allowed 2 sacks. I think that's a good move on my part. If I'm the 49ers, keep him around as much as you can. And maybe if Trey Lance is the starter, he can be that veteran guy on the offensive line. The Seahawks, it would be Rashad Penny, who didn't play a whole lot. He was injured, but I like the pick. And for the Bucks, I have Chris Godwin. Bucks have said over and over again they want to keep Godwin around. But they have a lot of players that could be in and out, could be leaving. Ndamukong Suh is one of those guys. So we got to figure this out. And if you pay Chris Godwin, you're paying him about $17 million on a franchise tag. Yes, I would agree with you, but I don't see them actually tagging him. But there's still a lot of time. They got till 4 o'clock on Tuesday, March 8th. Can any of these teams tag any of these players? Absolutely. But it's also possible they don't. And see what the future holds for these NFL teams and these NFL players.